Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you're tuning in from. Welcome to our closing ceremony for the Winter Games. I can't believe the first ever Winter Games are already in the books. The days just flew right by for me personally. This is a time for us to come together, those of us who have experienced the games, who've attended some of the breakouts and the hackathons and the keynotes, and to start reflecting and looking back so that we could start to look forward together, really. So joining me today, we're going to be hearing from Kyle Bowen and Allison Hall, who lead our learning experience group at the University Technology Office. And so they spend a lot of time, I will say, with faculty, and with others around ASU, ensuring that they have the tools and the support they need to really teach in all kinds of different modalities. So really pleased that they're here joining with us today. And I'm really pleased they're joining us today. And before we kind of get in and start digging in with them, I want to share a couple fun things. The first fun thing is that we have an official Winter Games scrapbook. Why this is important is because we know what happens. We all know what happens when you go to conferences. They turn out to be maybe a lot of fun and beneficial while you're there. Maybe you meet some people, you learn some new ideas, but after the event is over, it's in the rear view mirror. It's hard to kind of put together concretely what your experience was. And so we love this notion of a scrapbook or of a memory book, because by actually writing down your memories or adding images, or in our case, making a slide, creating your own page, helps reinforce kind of what the key outcomes were for you specifically, personally, for the Winter Games. Each slide is also downloadable as an image. So once you've created your own scrapbook page, you're able to actually share it across social media using the hashtag #ShapingEDUWinterGames. If you don't feel like downloading your page, you could always take a screenshot of it as well. That works too. You'll also notice in the scrapbook that if you've clicked on the link, that every single page has a carry the torch forward statement. So you'll actually be able to make your own personal commitment to how you're going to carry the torch of change further into 2021. We'll even give you a few minutes at the end of our closing ceremony today to fill in your scrapbook pages. But while you're checking out the scrapbook, and before we're waiting to hear from Allison and Kyle, I wanted to just take an opportunity to hear from some of you in the Olympic Stadium spectator area, and get a sense from you what maybe some of your favorite aha moments of the Shaping EDU Winter Games has been. I'm going to pick on you first, our storyteller in residence, Paul Signorelli, only because you've actually encapsulated some of this in some beautiful blog posts that you've shared. We'll start with you, but others in the audience, be thinking of maybe what one of your biggest aha reflection moment is to share with the group here shortly before we begin. Paul, take it away.
Sam, I'm a doctor, not a storyteller. Oh, old line. I've got that totally confused. God, my favorite moment. I think my favorite moment is one that you and I both know in terminology of those extended moments. In this case, it was the one that began when we had our opening ceremonies Tuesday morning, and the moment that will extend far beyond the end of this. So that covers all my bases, so I don't offend any of the presenters who did such a fabulous job. A time of great revelation, a time of great encouragement. We all so desperately, painfully need it. A very personal aspect of this. Yesterday, I think I may have told you, Sam, and told you, Laura, I was struck by two different communities I'm part of and how they reacted to what was going on in this country yesterday. One is a community of readers who go to bookshop readings on a regular basis virtually. They canceled their event last night in response to what was going on. And I understand that. That was just what that community needed to do. Shaping EDU, on the other hand, came right back in at 4 o'clock Mountain, acknowledged it in what I thought was one of the best presentations off the top of your head I've ever heard, Sam, about what this community means and how we go forward in spite of and because of what goes on around us. And we are thriving. That is this community, and that is my big takeaway again.
Thank you so much, Paul, for sharing. And for those of you who couldn't make the fireside chat yesterday, we just wanted to acknowledge, the events that were unfolding at the U.S. Capitol yesterday, and just, draw parallels to the change-making efforts of this community. It's really our intent together to shape a better world for working and living, and to keep creating a better and better world. And so, no matter what is happening in the world, and even in our some of our Black Swan thinking courses, when the things we couldn't even anticipate happening are happening, it's really all about how we come together as a community to address ongoing challenges and barriers, and kind of see past it, use our heartfelt principles of inclusion and access and equity, and design that better world together. Thanks so much for sharing and reflecting, Paul. I actually want to just quickly visit and check in with one of our keynote speakers from the very beginning of Winter Games, which now feels like years ago. Jody Donner from Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College, you gave a great presentation about the Ignite Labs and how we can freestyle over the horizon to design learning futures. What are some of your aha moments from the week?
So many of them. Thank you, Sam. It's just a wonderful way to really just get invigorated for the semester to start. And I think that was a big part of it. Yeah, today, actually, I hosted a bunch of sessions this week as well. And today I had so much fun with the Future is Fun session. And David Thomas and Lisa Forbes from Colorado were in there. And I just was reminded about the fun and playful nature that we should have in all the things that we do. And I know some people in here were also in that session, and I just felt so engaged and so inspired myself as the host. I was caught up in participating myself, which I was like, okay, I got to check the waiting room, I got to do this, I got to make sure everything's good, but I also want to participate. And I had so much inspiration from that I'm sharing it with all of my colleagues already, and just trying to ensure that I continue the fun.
Hey, thanks, Jody. And I saw you actually sharing with your colleagues outside of the Shaping EDU community. We use Slack, as you've seen, regularly at ASU. And I saw Jody earlier sharing with the community of faculty and learning designers some tips she had picked up at Shaping EDU. So I love to see it being paid forward. Thank you so much, Jody, for all the sessions you led.
Thanks.
Learned a ton from you too this week. All right, well, without further ado, I want to bring back up Kyle and Allison, who again have really carried the torch forward at UTO for connecting our learning experiences with enabling technology. They're going to be leading us through an exciting exercise called Reflections from the Top. So thank you so much, Kyle and Allison, for helping us more deeply reflect.
Oh, thank you so much, Sam. And hold on one second. I'm bringing up our, sorry, here. And there we go. You can see the slides okay? Maybe. There we go.
You're thinking about it.
Still thinking about it.
The slides are having trouble climbing the mountain.
It's the end of the day, right? It's the end of the session. That last, trudge up the hill is a tough one for sure. So thanks for the introduction. Glad to be here. It's an exciting opportunity to get to kind of wrap up an event like this, and really to try and kind of bring people together and talk about what were those outcomes. Allison, what do you think about a recap on this event?
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about, reaching the top of the mountain is that you get to look out on all the slopes, all the rinks, all the sledding, and of course the lodge, and think about, what you did, what you made, who you met, what's next. So tell us in the chat, drop a quick thing. What was, super important to you that you did, that you made, somebody that you met, that connection that you're going to make, and carry forth beyond this. And during this session, we're going to, take a moment, reflect from the top, and figure out how to tell that story so that we can carry that torch forward. So Kyle's going to kick us off into some storytelling tips and tricks.
Absolutely. And that's a big part of our discussion today is really an activity around storytelling. And we've taken note of everybody who's currently in this session. So if we see you leave, it's because we know that you're not going to want to have to work with other people. So it's important that you stay in at this point. All throughout this event, all of these discussions about kind of playing in the snow have really kind of struck a nostalgic tone for me about kind of all of the field trip or all of the road trips that I've taken over my life. And now when I talk about road trips, I don't mean those kind of fun road trips you took in college that maybe you don't quite remember. I mean the ones you took with your parents that you wish you didn't remember. These were the ones where you'd ride in the backseat of the family car with your brother or sister battling for control of the line. We all know this line, right? It's a seam that runs down the middle of the back seat. It creates this no-fly zone that separates two halves of the car. Many a battle has been waged over this line. Now, my parents, in an effort to draw a truce between my sister and I, they invested in travel board games. You see, the idea of a travel board game is fairly simple. What you do is you take a regular-sized game and then you shrink it down until it's not fun anymore. And so if you thought Monopoly was frustrating before, wait till you're playing it with a pair of tweezers. And Connect 4 travels well enough, but the pieces are so small, you're losing them all the time. And before you know it, you're playing Connect 3. And let's face it, that's just tic-tac-toe. So we have the same problem as we think about new ideas, that we tend to want to kind of root them in how we've thought about them in the past, as opposed to kind of transforming them to think about them into the future. And to do that, what we need to do is develop new stories that create that new perspective. And that's really what we want to focus on in our closing ceremony today, is thinking about, stories that take an idea, something that you want to really compel people to do, really want to persuade the world to take on a cause. And we want to craft a story, a pitch that convinces people to take action. Now, to do this, what I'm recommending is that we'll provide a structure here, right? And to make it easier, because if we're just looking at a blank page, that's its own set of challenges. But with this, what we're going to do is give you a framework to work inside of. This is one called a motivated sequence. And this is about motivating stories that help people want to take action. Now, many of these are stories are strategies you've heard before, right? A need to secure attention, right? That providing an example or something that illustrates a problem to be solved. We talk about the need or establishing, how is this relevant to how people feel? Satisfaction deals with, why does your idea solve a problem for those you're trying to kind of get to bring to action, right? Visualization, it helps people understand, what does that world look like? You're portraying this idea. You're trying to explain, what this is going to excite us into the future. And what does that look like? And it's a world that I want to be a part of. And then the last is that call to action. A story without a call to action is just a dream. And so it's important that you have people know what it is the next step. You're getting them all whipped into a frenzy. And now it's got to be, now here's where you funnel that energy, is that action, right? So this is a motivated sequence. And so what we're going to do is spend our time today in small groups, creating stories, a pitch in 1 minute that takes an outcome, a thing you want to carry your torch for going forward into the future, created with a story of this style. Now, I thought I'd start us off with an example. It's always helpful to have an example. And so what I thought was, what better device than a person spectating and watching the Winter Games should need than their Snuggie, right? So what we're going to do is take a quick minute here and watch a pitch for the Snuggie. And what I want you to do is think about each of those pieces I just talked about, each part of that story, in terms of visualizing it and securing and describing that need. So as you watch the Snuggie pitch, listen for those pieces. All right. And so I've got them listed here on the left.
You want to keep
You should
warm
be
when you're
able to
feeling
thumbs up
chilled,
if you
but
can
you
hear it.
don't want to raise your heating bill. Blankets are okay, but they can slip and slide. And when you need to reach for something, your hands are trapped inside. Now, there's the Snuggie, the blanket that has sleeves. The Snuggie keeps you totally warm and gives you the freedom to use your hands. So now, you can work the remote or read a book in total warmth and comfort. Use your laptop without being cold, or enjoy a snack while staying snugly warm. Snuggie is made of ultra-soft, thick, luxurious fleece with oversized sleeves, so you can move your arms and use your hands and still be wrapped in warmth. Super large, one size fits all, so you can stay warm from head to toe. No more cold feet. And with Snuggie, you can get up and still stay warm. Perfect for men, women, and children too. The ultra-soft fleece keeps you totally warm, and the sleeves keep your hands free. So you can snuggle your baby in your arms or keep your pet close at hand. Perfect for chilly outdoor evenings, staying cozy and warm at sporting events. And it's ideal for those drafty dorm rooms. The Snuggie is machine washable, so you'll get years of warmth and comfort. Now you can do what you need to and stay totally warm with the Snuggie. So pick up the Snuggie today.
Oh, see, there you have it. You didn't know you wanted it. Now you do, right? And please take note of Allison here, who was so compelled by this pitch. She put on her Snuggie. Anybody else have a Snuggie at hand that they want to slide on? After all, it is the Winter Games. So as I mentioned, this is the perfect example of like, okay, how do we describe or pitch or help people understand something new? It's not just a blanket. No, it's got sleeves. It's something that is going to change how you look at the future. So if we dissect this a little bit, what we can see is each part of this motivated sequence is present in that pitch. That there's that call to attention, that putting it in the context of the listener that says, aren't you cold? Right? Isn't that how you feel? You've established a need that your electrical bills, your gas bills are out of control. And the only way you're going to solve that is with this Snuggie, right? That you now have a future. Oh, we've got another one. We actually have somebody else in our audience here who's sporting their Sluggie. So yeah, if you need to take a minute, please go pull it out of the closet. And as we kind of move through this story, we begin to visualize what is life looking like now that I have the Snuggie. And the sporting event scene is my favorite part of the entire pitch. That people would be like at the game, wearing their Snuggie. And then the last part, like I said, is that ever so critical call to action. Oh, I love the Snuggie. I want it. Now what do I got to do? I got to buy it. This is what you got to do. That's how you satisfy that need. And it can only be satisfied by buying your Snuggie. So that's our motivated sequence that we are going to use to craft our pitches today. And so what we're going to do is kind of break into small groups. And I think we've already got those arranged. Allison, could you walk us through how this is going to work?
Absolutely. So we have a selection of rooms, maybe even too many rooms, but these are all themes that we've watched emerge over the course of the week of important connections that have been made here at the Winter Games. And so we're going to open up the rooms. If you have the latest version of Zoom, you'll be able to choose what room you want to go into. If not, you might need to pop out, do a quick update, and come back in. Or just send us a chat and we can pop you into the room of your choice. If there's no one in your room, or if you get in there and you're like, this isn't the story I want to tell, vote with your feet. You can, or with your mouse, I suppose. You can just leave and go into a different room. And we're going to pop the guide here in the chat. When you click it, it'll make you your very own copy of the framework. So as you go into the groups, you'll decide on your story and start developing your 1-minute pitch. And you'll also have this as a resource to going forward to tell any story that you wish as you carry the torch forth. Mm-hmm. Any questions?
So just again, to keep in mind, this is a 1-minute pitch. We're going to put it at a hard 1 minute. We got a timer for you all to keep it all on time. We might give you a little bit of extra time if you do it, present wearing a Snuggie. So I know that gives Marilyn's group a special advantage. So you might want to recruit Marilyn into your group because we'll give you a few extra seconds if you're actually pitching wearing a Snuggie. So as Allison said, any questions from everybody on what we're trying to do? If you take a look at the guide, kind of steps you through the process. So really kind of work with your group, come up with that idea, shape it into a story. And then as you come back into the session here, we're going to give you about 15, 20 minutes. As you come back into the session, you'll each have an opportunity to kind of give your pitch and share it with everybody. It's also okay if you have extra time, if you want to develop a second one, that's okay too. And we can kind of accommodate that. But like I said, and as Allison mentioned, if you can't find other colleagues in your room, you want to create your own, that's even better. And or you can kind of recruit other people in or move from room to room to find something you like. Any questions before we disperse into our rooms? Okay. And if you need to take a minute to go find your Snuggie, that's okay too. Marilyn's got hers ready. Okay. So with that, make sure you got the link to the guide, and we can also share it out again, but and get your own copy. But again, take your guide and go ahead and you can click on the, I'm going to stop share there. Click on the breakout room that looks good to you.
Yep, the rooms are open, so you won't automatically be placed anywhere.
Right. You pick. So
You
click on
choose.
breakout rooms at the bottom. They are open now with no waiting. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you've had a moment to craft your stories. We've got at least 3 groups, and if any of those groups had more than one, we can definitely accommodate that. First is there was the New Realities group. Was there folks from the New Realities group? Did you craft a story for us?
I was sort of waiting for him to say something, but if he's not going to say something, I guess I've got to say something.
It's up to you, Donna. You got to carry that torch.
Okay. He's from a university in Boulder, Colorado, and he's a dean, and I'm an undergrad at UMass Boston. I'm on the CIO's virtual reality team. So we talked a lot about Verbella, and there's another developer site that is owned by that whole conglomerate of Verbella, which is framevr.io. So I spend more time there, although I socialize sometimes in Verbella. The CIO has his office there, and so the IT department is having lots of regular business meetings and functions in a team suite there. We're looking at, can you do things like give IT advice from virtual reality? We're not quite sure that's going to come together yet, but we've been playing around with the spaces and filling them in. One of the big issues, probably the biggest issue, is accessibility for blind and deaf people. And I've been interacting with XR which is a accelerator in Boston. And they have some people connected to them who are looking into the issues, but it's such a hot topic to not have something educational that blind and deaf people can't fully participate in. And yet when you're innovating something, that may not be the first thing you're doing. So, how do you strike that balance where people say, well, you don't have your accessibility yet, so why are you doing anything innovative?
Fantastic, Donna. So yeah, so in this case, you're kind of, in terms of your pitch, it sounds like we're advocating for kind of accessible, kind of immersive experiences, and thinking about that as a possibility for kind of torch that gets carried forward. Moving on to our next group, we'll look at the future of learning. Our future of learning group was there. Did we have a pitch or story coming out of the future of learning? At least one, I would hope. It was a big group. Who is in the future learning group? Come on.
I
Somebody.
was in, but I don't have the paper in front of me.
Oh,
I have, but I think someone else would be very more articulate.
Give us a name and we'll call on them.
Oh,
Oh,
Let's all speak about what happened. I mean, Marilyn had the really good idea that people can't afford to study for 4 years in a community college. So that was going to be our need. So that was the N of the answer, if you like. So our need is people who want to find another way of getting a credential or leveraging their experience as ways of changing their lives or their jobs. So that was our need. And then the A part, getting the attention, would be to show a person or people who are stuck in some job they've been doing for 10 years, 15 years, and they still don't have that diploma, that thing that says, you know, I'm credentialed, I'm a qualified person, and I can do a job that I've never, you know, been educated to do. Or I've done a job. I'm now qualified to do a job even though I didn't do the 4-year degree. So that's the A and the N.
And I can act this out because Laura actually did write this as though someone was acting.
Oh,
with some great quotes. So this is great, Laura. This is you know, me standing in here. I need this learning. The learning opportunities available just don't work for me, and I deserve to pursue my dream. I need learning options that work with my schedule and my goals, and to get credit for existing experiences as well as new learning. Now I can learn when and where it works for me and get recognition for the skills and work experience I already have. I'm going to be able to enact my motivated lifelong learning, ignited due to these career opportunities, doing, dreaming, and creating with like-minded colleagues. And that's what happens if I choose this. If I don't, I'm going to have a dreary and dismal existence and an end to my learning. And I'll just be existing. I won't be being. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take control of my learning, and I'm going to join the buffet of learning options today. And I'm going to sign up for this guidance or training or advising module or whatever it is that we haven't decided to call it yet. That's it.
yay.
Amazing.
That was all Laura setting me up.
Fantastic. Fantastic. See, there you have it. And I'm ready. Like, let's go do it. Right?
Yes.
Let's go do it.
perfect.
Perfect. Were there any others out of that group, or is just the one? Just the one. Great. Fantastic. All right. So our future of work group, who can we call on in that group?
I think they're all going to point at me, and I've been cheating. I've been trying to put together everything that we were talking about, so we would sort of have a complete 60-second story, which we assumed was the assignment you were giving us. I will say straight up, we spent almost all of our time trying to plot out what that story was going to look like and how it could apply to the largest possible audience. And when we were about ready to craft the first line of the whole thing, we got the 60-second warning, at which point we went, "Eep, we have to come up with a story." So the background is we decided, because we are teacher, trainer, learners in every sense of the word, and we want to try to connect learning to the education system that carries into the workplace in meaningful ways and vice versa. We wanted a story that could appeal to all those audiences. So we had a lot of terminology we'd thrown in as a rough draft. And while you were all reading your stories, I just tried to craft a 60-second version based on the language we had there. And I'm gonna let that fly by you right here.
Fantastic.
With no rehearsing and with no finessing. And then the last line I'm gonna have to win because I didn't even get there. So that's our story, that's our audience, and here it goes.
Let it rip.
You'll wear a lot of hats as a lifelong learner. You'll struggle to determine when and where to wear those hats as you move back and forth between being a learner and a trainer educator and a member of a contemporary workplace. And you'll need help navigating those sartorial choices. When you find your peeps who understand those lifelong learning needs and the sartorial needs, you'll be well on the way to connecting your learning. That's where Shaping EDU comes in. We're a community of dreamers, drivers, doers. We all wear hats as learners, as teachers, trainers, and workers. And we want you to join us in shaping the future of learning in the digital age to meet the needs of our students and our workplaces for a better digital future. Bingo.
Yay.
Oh my God, don't encourage me.
Well done, Paul.
That was the whole group coming together. I just wordsmithed everything. Fantastic group to work with as always.
Fantastic. Well, I'm ready to join Shaping EDU. I don't know about anybody else.
Sam, sign that person up.
Sam,
Well,
do you
you
know
know
about this thing?
I think we can make that happen today.
Kyle, your first assignment will be joining the broadband initiative that a bunch of us are leading, because I don't want any of my other fellow mayors to grab you before we get to you.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
And we will give you their first hat. We'll give you a ski cap.
Anyways, well, this is fantastic. So what we come out of our event with today are some actionable ideas in terms of moving forward. They've been pre-packaged into a pitch that can be run as, you know, a 1-minute commercial spot on all of your favorite shows. But you know, what we can see here is that as we've come together as groups, you know, we've developed ideas over the last couple of days, and even in your discussions, I'm sure there were a number of ideas that you kind of left on the cutting room floor that really you could come back to at any point and become that big idea, that torch that you carry into the future. And so that's the really exciting part about closing down these ceremonies today. Allison, do you have anything you'd like to add as part of getting the last word on our closing ceremony?
I've just been so inspired by all the stories today, all the experiences throughout this week. It's just such a fantastic, fantastic experience. And I look forward to seeing all the things those torches light on fire as you leave here.
Hey, thank you so much, Kyle and Allison, for joining us today. I know this really kind of also helped me contextualize how I even tell stories about the conferences I go to and the ideas I get from them, and what to do with them, among many other things. It's just so helpful to have a framework that you can turn to over and over again for a number of different contexts. And in a lot of ways, I think there's a lot of parallels into change making, no matter what the world throws your way, no matter whether it's a pandemic or something else. If we have the tools, the frameworks, the research, I hesitate sometimes to say best practices because, you know, that's very nuanced. But we are then able to together, you know, face whatever challenges, you know, come our way on the mountain. So thank you again, Allison and Kyle. And thank you so much, all you storytellers who shared your pitches. This was certainly one of the highlights of my day, and I'll be adding it shortly to my own scrapbook. So this is actually perfect timing. At 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, we're switching right over to our closing torch ceremony, carrying forward the torch. And you know what else happens to be about 3 minutes long? Dare I say one last play of the theme song, you know, while we let in anyone else that needs to come in, or while we're waiting for 5 o'clock to roll around the next 3 minutes? Take it away.
So the pandemic happened, and we're not laughing. The world is now on thin ice. The Olympics were canceled, but we've got it handled. The torch has been lit, so if the ski boots fit, we're catching paddle with the session every hour. Bronze and silver levels, but gold is our next medal. Grab your mask, grab your gloves, ride the half pipe of the discussion board. Take a ride on Cannonball. 20 I wanna learn from you. Where do we go from here? Win or lose, we're a team. Change the world in unforeseen solutions. Reaction, life change, the ultimate. Making fresh tracks, we're ablaze in the path for every nation, for future generations. Oh, the torch has been lit, and you're the best fit to be innovative, bold, and go for the gold. Yeah, 21, winter game fun. Yeah, root and good. Yeah, I wanna learn from you. Where do we go from here? I wanna learn from you. I wanna hear from you. I just wanna see you. Where do we go from here?
Wow, I cannot believe that will likely be one of the last times we listen to that original Winter Games theme song together. And I also can't believe that this is the closing ceremony of the Winter Games. These 3 days have absolutely flown by, but what's for certain are the ideas and the magic of the relationships formed, I think are gonna last forever. And I'm super inspired by the change-making ideas discussed, solutions to challenges, everything from digital equity to transportation, to making learning fun again. It really has set the tone, I think, for 2021, and also how we could come together like this, even in digital environments, to co-create something that's bigger than any single one of us or any single one of our affiliations. So actually up on the screen, what you see there is reflections from the top. We just enjoyed a very reflective, but also forward-looking session hosted by Kyle Bowen and Allison Hall, where people used a storytelling framework that they presented to tackle one of the themes from the Winter Games and actually pitch something to share a challenge and to better articulate it. So that graphic, along with all the other brilliant graphic facilitation from the week. Thank you so much, Elise, to our graphic facilitator. That will all be and it continues to be added to the Shaping EDU Winter Games website. Sketches from the slopes, so you won't want to miss the full series of reflections that really encapsulate the spirit of so many of the sessions. So here we are, one last time, gathered in Olympic Stadium as we're getting ready to say our goodbyes. Memories made, ski hills run, many different double and triple axles, new skills picked up in every session. And it's been really wonderful learning and growing with all of you. I want to first and foremost thank all of you for, in the midst of these past kind of crazy 3 days, making the intentional decision to spend some time with us. What's really clear from the events that have unfolded at the U.S. Capitol is that what it really takes to create a better future for living and working is togetherness like this. Bringing together different viewpoints from different fields like higher education, K-12, but also smart communities, just opens up new pathways and new realms for all of us to do, I think, some of the best change making of our lives. And so that's what I wish for everyone moving forward in 2021. We're going to do a quick exercise here in a little bit that's actually quite reflective. So as we think about all of the ideas that we're carrying forward from the sessions that we saw a little bit in the reflections from the top, it's time to make our own carry forward the torch promises and statements to each other into the world. And so in the chat, we're going to drop a link to what is a scrapbook template. And you'll notice that we've done a lot of the hard work for you. So those of you who might be thinking, it's been a while since I made a scrapbook, or I've never made a scrapbook page in my life, This is really a way to address what sometimes happens at conferences where it's hard to, crystallize or carry forward some of the main ideas that you learned. So we make it concrete and we make it tangible by being able to actually express our aha moments and our memories in this form, but also on each scrapbook page. And actually I will share it right now so you can see it. And here we go. Excuse me. Here we go. Here is our scrapbook that you should see a link to. We have some instructions for how to fill it out. We have Winter Games icons and graphics for you to use to color your own memories of what Winter Games meant to you and what you learned. Even stickers. Hey, why not? This is a digital scrapbook. We've got all the tools. We have, this is a sample. This is what a page, could look like. Feel free to use GIFs. But the important thing is to write your name here, and then you'll see a carrying the torch forward statement. Fill that out, kind of like Mad Libs. What are you personally going to be doing to carry the torch forward of what you've learned and what you've gained in your experience from the Winter Games to make the world a better place in 2021 and beyond? Oh, who is this? Oh, wait a second. It's me. That's right. I just stopped off in the ski lodge just for a few minutes over some hot chocolate this afternoon, and I made my own scrapbook page. Just of some of my favorite memories. We have views from the chairlift. We had that awesome opening keynote. Chinobe from the concert, from the Zoom hosted concert last night, just set my soul ablaze. Some of the GIFs that were created. I got a badge as a Winter Games coach. And so this was sort of my moment to reflect in my experience. And I personally pledge to continue through events like this one and other means to build community and continue to connect dreamer, doers, and drivers so that we are all empowered to carry the torch of change forward in 2021. So I'll stop my share. We're going to pull up some inspirational music. And hopefully you can be inspired by our Elise, our graphic facilitator, and some of the icons and the stickers, and start just for a few minutes here, just about 3 minutes, contemplate and really deeply reflect on some of your favorite exchanges, memories, lessons learned from this event, and then make your statement about what you plan to carry forward into 2021. But wait, it gets better. You're able to, because we're using Google Slides as a tool, you can download your particular slide and share it to social media as your personal Shaping EDU Winter Games pledge with hashtag Shaping EDU Winter Games. Or you could simply take a screenshot of the slide, whatever works for you. But again, there's a psychology behind it where if you actually write it down and put the statement out there, it's more likely to come to fruition. So let's dream, do, and drive together. And Seth, I'll ask you to cue up our inspirational music. Let's all get to work on our scrapbook pages for the next 3 minutes. And then we'll, and you're not going to want to go anywhere though, because there's going to be medals awarded here in just a little bit. Again, a really big Olympic-sized round of applause for our co-conveners. Awesome. Where's John Rome's applause maker when I need it? I want to encourage you, for those of you who haven't had a chance yet, if you like what you saw here at the Winter Games and want to get further involved and stick with this community, we would love to see that. We'd love to have you. So check out our website. There's tons of projects and resources for you. We'll see you there. And then, of course, our championship Olympic village of a team led by Aaron and Lara, and then a host of other folks from the University Technology Office. And of course, Elise, our fantastic graphic facilitator. Thank you so much for making this experience, for bringing this experience to life. And our connective team of Dom, Di, Brian, Honor, Chris, and John. Thank you for giving us a hearty dose of advancing smart regions and communities all week long. could not let the closing ceremony also go by without thanking a few other people, more than a few other people who were instrumental. You may have seen some of these people, but not necessarily heard directly from them. And that's because we had a number of people who volunteered for moderating Zooms, getting Slack messages out to help orient our edu athletes. So thank you so much to all the folks you see listed here. Really, you made this possible. We would not have gotten off the chairlift without you. So thank you so much. Okay, well, without further ado, I promised that there would be awards, and I think it's time to close things down with some awards. What do you say, Laura and Aaron?
That sounds fantastic.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to pull them up. So these awards are going out to people that have maybe stood out. I mean, everyone really, everyone has been incredible athletes. You know, we've really noticed your triple axels. We've noticed you shredding the gnar. But the awards that we're going to be giving out tonight are going to be for a few of our athletes that maybe went in some capacity the extra mile or did something a little extra that got our attention. So now picture us. We are in Olympic Stadium. The crowd is going wild, of course, and all these award recipients are standing on the platform, receiving their medals. So here we go.
Yep. Looks great, Sam.
All right, perfect. So as you can see, our award for best dressed at the Winter Games has to go to Dean Douglas Sylvester, who showed up at the opening gala in a full-on tuxedo. Dean Sylvester, thank you so much for going the extra mile. You know, this is a really good look for the Winter Games, I think. Laura, you want to tell us who's next?
Yes, indeed. We have our student voice champion, Zuzana, who led a brilliant session on Tuesday, all about K-12 innovation and equity. Thank you very much and congratulations.
All right, this next one goes to our K-12 innovation visionary, who also happened to show up completely ready to snowboard down the mountain. That goes to Keith Krueger. Thank you, Keith. I haven't seen him without his goggles since the session, so hopefully he's okay.
Next up, we have Callie for our Epic Tweeter Award. Congratulations, and thanks for all your awesome storytelling.
Then we got to give our MVP Shaping EDU rookie to Curtis Brothers. I know that he's new to the community, but Curtis, if you're in here, we saw you around all the sessions, contributing so positively and vibrantly to all the conversations and really helping take things to the next level. We're so pleased to have you in our community. Thank you so much for joining us.
And then we have Kim, who I just saw hop in a car on the video a moment ago. Congratulations, Kim. You are a caffeinated contributor joining from Australia.
Yeah, from Perth, Australia. I think Kim might have probably had the most significant time difference. So I think even one of the sessions he was leading was at a really inappropriate time for someone to be presenting. So thank you for staying caffeinated and staying vigilant and staying with us, Kim. Next up, Donna Kimmel, our emerging tech champion. Also someone that we saw around the slopes and in the ice rink. Someone who really, as an undergraduate student at UMass Boston, who really has brought forward her experience with emerging technologies and her energy and enthusiasm into all of the sessions. So thank you so much, Donna. Congratulations.
Wonderful. And then this individual is the winner of Tuesday's hackathon for building the top immersive room for the Winter Games, our champion Olympic Village builder.
Awesome. Congratulations, Yug. And I've heard, rumor has it, that Heather and Dan are sending a package of goodies to Yug because his creation was just remarkable.
Indeed.
I also want to give the literal changemaker prize here, medal, to Mayor Corey Woods, who delivered a really epic presentation at the slopes. So thank you, Mayor Woods, for joining us and doing change making for a living every single day. And of course, our world-changing co-convener goes to our lead co-convener, Cox Business, for really helping lead the way for the entire Winter Games. We really, really, really appreciate you. Oh, thought I was done, Laura, Aaron, but I wasn't. I'm not. I have to give a medal to our magical master of ceremonies, and that goes to Aaron Marrow. I really wish things weren't so awkward with Zoom and I could just have everyone, turn on their microphones and applaud Aaron, because this was, it may not have looked it may just have looked like, the bunny hill, but actually designing an event like this takes a lot of time, effort, a lot of logistics and organization and planning and relationship building. And Aaron, you've done just an epic job. So congratulations on your Magical Master of Ceremonies medal. Laura Geringer, our gold medal legendary strategist and designer. So much creativity and so much thought into every single detail. How amazing everyone was this program, by the way. That, just the diversity of topics, from sports and entertainment to the next generation graduate assistant. I mean, it really doesn't get crazier than that. It truly does reflect how it is at the Olympics, when all the activities, curling is different from lugeing, is different from bobsledding, but it all works together. And that's because of people like Lara. So thank you so much for everything, Lara. And I'm going to give it over to you for our final awards of the evening.
That's perfect, because Aaron and I were going to interrupt you here anyway to say thank you so much to Sam, one of our phenomenal MCs, always ready with an idea, a solution, willing to jump in at the last minute or months in advance. Thank you so much for everything you've done this week and in the months leading up to this, Sam. Aaron, is there anything you'd like to say?
We only succeed because we have you by our side. So you are the greatest part of our team. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. It takes an Olympic village, and I just happen to work in the best one. So, woohoo! Well, everyone.
Oh, Sam, wait.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't actually read the last slide.
Oh my goodness. Okay, get that back up there.
We must recognize our Olympic change makers. These 8 people have successfully completed the Olympic Changemaker badge, and the badges are still available, so you can go and get your Olympic Changemaker badge too. But these people have earned a minimum of 4 badges total over the course of the week, the Olympic Changemaker badge and then 3 additional badges. Congratulations to these epic changemakers for being with us in so many sessions and sharing your leadership in so many sessions. And I know that will just continue as we close out the Winter Games.
Yes, absolutely. And so if you're wondering who to take advice from and how to do some real change making in 2021, it's the people you see here in front of your eyes. Okay. Well, with just a couple minutes left, I think it's only natural to turn things over to you, our edu athletes, our smart community champions. During our reflections from the top, we did invite a few people up to reflect on their Shaping EDU Winter Games experiences. Kyle and Allison brought it home with the major themes from the week, but consider this an open mic. If anyone would like to share some of their own personal reflections and aha moments from the Winter Games, we'd love to hear from you. And for those of you who are just tired from a long day at the slopes, which I completely understand, and you want to absorb everything you learned, all your moments, lessons learned, feel free to share those thoughts in our survey. A link will be shared here shortly in the chat. And also it will be sent to you via eBlast in our daily recap in just a couple hours here. So we'd love to hear from you. These events are something that we try to do as often as we can in kind of different areas. We've done them around cybersecurity. We've of course done them around EDU. We've done them around digital trust. And so we are always looking for insights from folks that have participated so that we can make these experiences as engaging and beneficial as possible. So thank you for taking just a little bit of time, just a couple minutes to fill out our survey. Paul, I'm going to turn to you once more because as one of our storytellers in residence, you always have a way with words where you could kind of sum things up for the week so perfectly. I know you're shaking your head, he's shaking his head, but I know he loves this. Paul, what have been some of your biggest takeaways from this week?
The strength of this community, it's phenomenal. The diversity of interest in this community, that is phenomenal. The ability of people to roll with the punches and be creative in the midst of high levels of creativity, to always take it 1 or 2 or 3 steps further. Ruben often talks of black swans. We need a different animal that talks about the unexpected ability to take us where we didn't think we were going to go. And that isn't dealing with black swan things. That's dealing with, we always top ourselves. My hat literally, look, there's no hair there anymore. I had hair when this started. I take my hat off to every member of this community for the brilliance and the energy you bring to this. You are my peeps. We are each other's peeps. And I'm going to stop before I start crying.
Well, I could finally say it and mean it. I'm not crying, you are. But seriously, thank you to everyone who joined us. We really appreciate you. If you're thinking, okay, where do we go from here? What comes next? We'll be working to turn some of these outcomes into some sort of communique, some sort of written piece, something for you to kind of look at and react to. And then the Shaping EDU community is an action-oriented community. So we always find ways to carry forward the top ideas and reflections and themes from events like this one and actually turn them into work streams that create products and events and solutions and frameworks throughout the year. And then we invite other people to join those projects and to help us create new resources. So be on the lookout for more from us, tying everything with a bow. Apart from our recaps, we'll be sending forward a communique and a way for you to react. And then we really hope to see you in the see you around the Shaping EDU community, as this definitely is just the first Shaping EDU event of 2021 and not the last. So with that, I want to thank you all so much. And until we meet again, keep dreaming, keep doing, and keep driving.
So the pandemic happened, and we're not laughing. The world is now on thin ice. The Olympics were canceled, but we've got it handled. The torch has been lit, so if the ski boots fit, we'll catch a paddle with the session every hour. Bronze and silver levels, but gold is our next medal. Grab your mask, grab your gloves, ride the half pipe of the discussion board. Take a ride on Cannonball 21. Wizard Gate fun, yeah. Root and good, yeah. I wanna learn from you. Where do we go? change the old to make it fresh. Tracks we're a blazing the path for every nation, for future generations. Oh, the torch has been lit and you're the best fit to be innovative, bold, and go for the goal, yeah. 21, winter game fun, yeah. Rooting good, yeah. I wanna learn from you. Where do we go from here? I wanna learn from you. I wanna hear from you. I just wanna see you. Where do we go